All right, but I'm trying, you're not letting me finish. What I'm saying is, this situation with this building on the square, is that pending legislation?
Yes, it is.
Kadluboski. I understand we're gonna put how much money into this building? 750,000 or something? Why? I mean, I could understand if the city maybe wants to put a roof on it, or otherwise, but why are we gonna put money into this that we're never gonna get out? I mean, this is absurd.
We had a similar discussion on Tuesday, and Marie, you're well versed in this, if you want to get that, that'd be great.
Sure.
Now, this doesn't take away from my time to talk about everything.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to go ahead, or do you want me to?
Please, go ahead.
Okay. The work that's going to be completed on the bank building is actually to save that building from a historic preservation stance, restore the bank. Not right now, it is actually to stabilize it so it doesn't deteriorate any further. The hope down the line is that someone will be interested in doing something in that building, and we won't have to demolish it. You know, it's one of the remaining buildings on Public Square. So that's why, and it's grant money that we've applied for and been successful in getting to try to fix that building. So that's the answer to that.
I understand, but to me, it just seems like it's a lot of money. Why don't we use the money on something else? Maybe it's time to demolish that building.
Okay, the grant money was granted specifically for this purpose.
Can't we do away with it and then reapply to get it for something else? I mean, to me, it just seems like, in other words, we're gonna put $750,000 of grant money into a building and we're never gonna get it back out. I mean, who is gonna end up with this building?
It's uncertain at this point, but
Or, I
do
mean,
you
I'm sure
really
that-
want to see it deteriorate and be demolished?
Well, I understand, I can see putting a roof on it, and somebody's that interested in it, let them put the money into it. See, because usually what happens here, and I'm not trying to start trouble, usually what happens when these deals happen, the mayor, one of his campaign contributors or somebody will be waiting in the wings and mysteriously will take the building over. I mean, I could see, this is from a business standpoint, and also as a taxpayer, sealing the roof, that's it.
Okay, it's not a matter of sealing the roof. There are skylights in the roof that are leaking, so that, and there are, the parapets are coming apart, so there's a lot more extensive work to be done than just doing the roof. And to my knowledge, there is no one hanging union wings waiting to go into that building.
Well, see, you don't know until they make the move.
Well, I'm just telling you as of today.
Right, but I mean, in my opinion is, I think it's a waste. I think that if somebody was that interested in it, private sector would go after that building. I think fixing the roof, fine, but $750,000, I think the money could, grant money could be applied and used for something more constructive than that bank building. That's my opinion.
We have a contract from the state for the money, and if in fact we don't meet the requirements of that contract, the money will go back to the state and not be applied here.
I understand. I know you're only doing your job, but the way things will work here the last 11 years is there's always somebody waiting.
Bob, any more questions on that?
Well, no, I just finished my statement. You're all just, I've been busy the last few weeks. I'm just here to say, just want to get it on the record that the way things usually work here, where like the campaign contributions go and
There's
the
nothing
golf
to do with
tournaments.
legislation. Okay, you have your 5 minutes in a little bit, okay?
All right, well, let me just finish. I just
She
want to
answered
say,
your question, Bob.
why are you so mean to me?
Bob, thank you. Anyone else on pending legislation?
I want to, interject. I apologize, I couldn't make the meeting on Tuesday, but I tend to agree with Mr. Kadluboski. I think $750,000 isn't a winterization program. That's a major renovation. I don't see why it would cost $750,000 to renovate a building that's been already vacant for 30 years. Because as long as I remember, there was nobody in it. I started in the 70s and that building was vacant. And I think it's throwing good money at bad money. And I think it's a waste to, renovate it. We tried to save the Hotel Sterling and ended up costing us $600,000 to knock it down by ourselves. I don't want that to happen again after sinking in another $1 million.
Mr. Barrett, would you mind if I pulled council and dispatched the rest of council members?
They have a chance to vote on it, Bob.
Well, I understand, but would you?
Bob, we have.
All right, would you,
Anything
council,
else, Council?
before I sit down, could you just answer what your opinion is on this, Mr. Brown?
If Mr. Brown wishes to speak, he will.
All right, well, he just moved.
Mr.
so-
Kadluboski, he can speak. speak on his own.
Why are you such a mean person? Mr. Brown moved, so I think he wants to say something.
Let me just say something, if
Go
I
ahead.
can, and correct me, Mr. McCormick, if I'm wrong. Beginning of the year, the city puts together projects that they want to apply for monies from these grants, specific items. And I believe this was a specific item that was listed last year or the year before. So if, Bob, if we don't do this project and it's been approved for, we don't get to spend that $720,000 on another project or something else. It goes back, so once it's been approved by the state, and correct if I'm wrong, it's either do the project or you give the money back. So we don't have that money to put more street pavings or other things of that nature. So it's like, do this project, secure the building, make it better, hopefully we'll sell it and get money back from that. But we don't have a choice of taking that money, Bob, and putting it someplace else.
I understand.
So we are limited as far as what we can do. It's either we can vote for this and get it done, or don't vote for it and not approve it, and the money goes back to the state and they use it for some other city.
See, the thing, Mr. Brown, is if this was such a good project, why isn't the private sector doing it? I mean, because, I understand you want to preserve history and this and that, but it's like a waste of, in my opinion, why are you, I'm having a conversation, you said whole council, now I'm talking about council,
We're
stop
having this-
interrupting me.
You will have your 5 minutes. to
I understand,
speak,
but
Mr.
we're
Brown.
having a conversation, don't
Anyone
forget
else?
his thoughts.
I just would say what Mr. Brown said about not, if we don't use the money, it goes back to the tax fund. That still goes back to the taxpayer, which is gaming fund was supposed to be. Not to throw into a building that's gonna be knocked down in 5, 10 years anyway, because if they were gonna sell it, they would have sold it already. I mean, it's 30 years, I think it's not sellable.
Just so other members of council, just so you know, I was on a walking tour with Mayor Clayton when he first got in office about that building. So here we are, what, 11 years later, and it's, to me, in my opinion, it's just a waste. Other members of council, do you wish to make a comment?
Mr. Barrett? Mr. Barrett? may I say
You may,
something?
go ahead.
The alternative to this is to let the building go, let it deteriorate, and take it down. I don't know any other resolution than to invest this money and get this building stabilized. So they're your alternatives.
I understand, I respect that, but like I said, to me, it seems like it's a waste.
We
Like,
let
what happened to
everything
Wilkes
go.
Barre?
What's the
They should have put
difference?
the roof on it, instead what they do, they waste $6.5 million, and mysteriously, they
These
forget to put the
people.
roof on.
All right,
And look
Mr.
what happened.
Kadluboski. Thank you. You made your point. We understand what you're
Thank you. Praise the Lord.
Thank